Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Michael from EmbodyTheState.com, and in this video we're going to be covering if you're having trouble feeling it real. What to do. We're going to kind of clear some misconceptions and we're going to get more deeper into it in this video. And all I ask from you guys is if you get anything of value from this topic and from this video specifically is to hit that like button, so therefore of course it reaches a greater audience. So the same way it helped you, it'll help somebody else. That's all I ask from you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I intend that you will, and this is going to clear some things up for you guys. So let's just dive right into it. So feeling it real, right? So many people I've seen around, it doesn't matter what platform, my comments, clients of mine, it's definitely a common, issue that I cover with most of my clients too. Not all of them, but some of them, they say, I can't feel it. I can't feel anything. I don't feel the wish fulfilled. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like, and this and that. And one thing I want to kind of explain to you guys that, indifference in itself is a feeling. Like Neville specifically is quoted saying this, right? He talks about how indifference is a feeling in itself, and therefore it's not something that you should be kind of, worried about, right? Because if indifference is also a feeling, and that's what you have when you enter the wish fulfilled, right? As long as you have that knowing, which we're going to dive even deeper into the knowing part next, but if you have that, if you walk away from that knowing, even though you feel indifference, but you actually accept that you already are what you want to be, regardless of what emotional state that, that you're not feeling, it doesn't matter. It's the knowing that matters. It's the conviction. And that's what you're supposed to be going for and returning to, right? Neville himself discusses that, it's not the emotion that he's talking about when he says feeling, but he's talking about, the knowing, the conviction that it is done, that you already are the one that has it. And a lot of people, of course, they kind of combine that with emotion. And, I'm not going to sit here and say emotion is not important. I'm not going to sit here and say it plays no positive role in, especially positive emotions. That I'm not going to say that they don't play a positive role. Anyone who studies source material, specifically if you dive into Seth, you'll find that he talks about how, positive emotions, in a sense, actually accelerate your manifestation, reflecting, in other words, manifesting, right? And, they actually accelerate faster, much more than, destructive emotions and things like that, right? So, and keep in mind, that was my experience. Anyone who knows my story, right? And if those of you are watching are new, when I first discovered the law, I literally just picked up one book from Neville, read it, and then I started applying it as soon as possible because it made so much sense just off that one book. And I thought that the wish fulfilled at the time was emotion, right? And every time I thought of, having my SP back or having my financial success at the time, I went for both of them were gratitude, to be honest. Gratitude, relief, love, so on and so on. And when I started doing that, I was like, oh, this must be what the wish fulfilled feels like, right? And that's what I thought that he meant. I didn't realize, because I didn't get deeper into his teachings, that he wasn't, fully talking about everything else that I just mentioned in this video about how, it's the knowing that should be the part that you're focusing on, right? And the beautiful thing about that is it actually taught me a very valuable lesson, which years later, when I got into Seth material, Jane Roberts and all this stuff, and I saw them talking about how positive emotion actually accelerates and plays a role, because remember, even scientists and even Joe Dispenza, as an example, discusses how, the subconscious mind understands emotion, right? So when you're afraid, of course, your mind is going to know that you're afraid for a reason because you're believing in something. It's a language that it understands. Same thing, when you're grateful for something that you don't have, your subconscious mind doesn't go, oh, what are they grateful for? It trust me, it knows. It's a part of you. It knows everything. And same concept. When I went to gratitude for those things, because I literally, in that moment, when I was craving my things that I wanted, my desires, I instantly accepted that I had them. Not in the sense of like, oh, my 3D has changed and I'm trying to fake it and convince myself. No, I went to where creation is finished, right? I went to the realization that, the fact that I even have this desire means it's already mine. I just can't see it. And I have to start embodying what I think it would feel like. In other words, to know that it is mine. And when I did that, I always went to the moments that I received my desire. At the time, I wasn't going, 3 months later and things like that. I was going to the exact moment that my thing, in other words, my desire has reflected, right? And when I did that, of course, like I mentioned, it was gratitude. It was, a very happy sense within me. And I knew that gratitude meant that I accepted it. And I thought, hey, that must be what he's talking about. But like I said, it taught me that valuable lesson because years later, when I realized that it actually did play a role in reflecting things fast, it made sense why my results came within 6 days, right? For my financial success and my love life, my SP, right? And then, of course, I played around and I tried different things. And I noticed certain things took me a bit longer, even if I didn't have much resistance to them. But I noticed every time I started sprinkling in a little bit of gratitude, fulfillment, like relief, happiness, excitement, whatever it is, I noticed that it kind of came attached with a little rocket attached to it, right? It just sped things up for me. And of course, like I said, when I got into set stuff and I realized, oh my God, that's why that happened so fast. It taught me that lesson. And that's the lesson that I'm kind of passing on to you guys. It's like, yes, if you can feel emotion when you enter the wish fulfilled, it's okay. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, enjoy it, experience it. You're just experiencing it on a deeper level. But I want you guys to understand, and here's the takeaway, right? And here's the main reason I made this video. It's not about the emotion you're chasing. The emotion is a separate, passive, result. It's like a passive effect of acceptance. It's the knowing, right? Because I wasn't chasing that emotion. I first accepted that I already had the thing I wanted. I went to that moment and contemplated what it would feel like if I was actually in that moment right now. Even though I was on a bus, manifesting wealth, but I was on a bus, right? I was able to ignore as Neville says, my senses around me. But I was still able to understand I can still go in imagination to what I think that moment would feel like, where I'm experiencing something that implies I have wealth, right? And I would think of like how it would be buying the coolest Christmas presents for my family and being able to pay everyone's dinners and things like that, which in turn made me feel proud. It made me feel grateful. It made me feel excited and happy. These were all emotions, but the emotion didn't come first. It came secondary. It was after I have accepted that moment, after I experienced that moment, and then the emotions came flooding in. And of course, it's the knowing. That's the first priority. That's what you should be focusing on. You shouldn't be focusing on chasing the emotion. It's experience it first instead. And then you'll notice that for a lot of people, the emotions and stuff will come after. And that's okay. That's fine. But the main priority, it's the knowing, right? Think about it like this. We all know that we have a cell phone, right? Like I have a cell phone. I know I have an iPhone, right? And I'm not excited about it when I think about it. When I think of my iPhone, I'm not like, oh my God, jumping for joy. Like it's here. I have it. I finally got it. Like it's none of that. I don't do that, right? I've had this phone for a while. I kind of want to get rid of it, And the beautiful thing about it is I still know that it's mine. And I'm indifferent about it, right? And because I'm indifferent, does that mean that this dissolves and just disappears and goes poof? No, right? It doesn't. Why? Because I know it's in here and I know that it's mine, right? And it's just normal to me, right? So when you enter a state of wish fulfilled, you don't focus so much on the emotion. That will come naturally. Just make sure, can you know that you have something for just 1 second, for just a split second? Can you accept that you already have something? Can you accept that you are the version of yourself that isn't trying to manifest it? In that moment, can you accept that you are the version that has it, that already has manifested and reflected it, right? Are you able to experience the moment that you get that confirmation, or that you remember you already have it or have had it, right? And that's what you want to go for. And when you experience that with an open mind, and you kind of block out everything outside of you, and you're just focused on that experience within yourself, in your inner world, in your imagination. And what I tell my clients, it's in your true reality, right? Remember, inside first, and those of you that have my workshop will know this. I talk about the core concept, which is the inside first, outside second, right? And you have to realize and live your life with that knowing, with that understanding that it's your inside that comes first, the outside gets reflected second. It's whatever goes in here, shoots out there. And that's how I want you to live life and understand. If I'm feeling and knowing certain things inside of myself, regardless of what's out here, that's the priority. And eventually that's gonna, for lack of a better way of explaining it, just think of it like it's going to catch up, right? And I know some diehard, law of assumption people that, that study deeply will be like, oh, it's not how it works, blah, blah. But trust me, that helped me when I was beginning to think of it like that. It's like I was depositing something inside like a piggy bank, and I didn't know when it was going to overflow and explode. I just knew that eventually it would, which would lead to the catching up, right? But what I was doing actually was changing my beliefs. And when I enter the wish fulfilled, I am going into a new set of beliefs. And when I did that, I would then return to my default dwelling state, and that's okay. But I would make sure throughout the day, in a fun, happy, loving way, I would enter the wish fulfilled, and I wouldn't contradict it when I'm not doing that. And that's a part that a lot of people make a mistake on, and I'm gonna make a video on that alone because I could talk about that for like hours. But it was the knowing that you need to focus on. Can you practice knowing that you have something even though your eyes are showing you that you don't? Can you just for a split second enter that moment, that realization, the identity of having something, right? When you enter the wish fulfilled, or at least attempt to, because I know in your guys' mind, some of you view it like, oh, I tried, but I didn't feel anything, and therefore I did it wrong. The only thing you're doing wrong is thinking because you felt nothing that you're doing it wrong. Remember, indifference is a feeling in itself. And if indifference, like I have to this, is a feeling in itself, then it's the knowing that matters. I know when I reach for my phone, it's going to be there. Can you practice going to the knowing that you already have the thing you want? Not in your 3D. It's not about being delusional, right? It's about being logical. It's about understanding your inside world is your only true reality, and the outside is just secondary, right? You're the reason for everything, right? It's cause and effect. And you have to start within and then go without. So when you start practicing returning to the wish fulfilled, don't seek the emotions. It's going to come as a natural byproduct, right? It's why people that study, for example, law of attraction, right? If you study law of attraction, then you'll know that you have to study law of vibration. And if I was to tell you, okay, embody a state of wealth, right? Like, give me the vibration of wealth. What would that feel like? The same answer to that is if someone asks you, enter the state of the wish fulfilled of being wealthy. It's the same thing, right? But those things, it's like we kind of get so confused and think, oh, we have to have this strong emotion and feeling and we have to force it and otherwise our brain won't understand. No, it's when you enter the wish fulfilled, when you contemplate whether it's for money, right? You want money success. Okay, what's the angle with the money success you want? Think about it. Let's say it's $20,000 a month in sales, and that's where you feel comfy starting. Okay, so right now, there's so many ways to go about it. I'll just give you an example. If you were to remember that you were already making $20,000 each month for the last 3 months, how would you actually feel right now if you just remembered that that was actually your life and that's normal for you, right? How would you feel if right now you made $60,000 in the last 3 months? Would you be excited, right? Would you be happy? Who knows? It's up to you to discover what that is when you accept it. And when you fully accept it, then you might notice when you just embody it, when you just, for a moment in time, you just instantly accept that you have been doing that and how you think that how that would feel like, right? How would it feel if I actually had this? And then you contemplate that. You're going to notice that it's like, okay, it would either feel indifferent or I would feel relieved or I would feel happy or excited. Whatever those answers are, that those emotions that you're describing, keep in mind, they don't come because, in other words, the wish fulfilled thinking that you have to force an emotion. They come because you first accepted a belief and, that belief in itself, think of it like a key. That belief unlocks feelings. That's why when you have anxiety, it's because you're believing in something that gives you anxiety. And when you have fulfillment, in a sense, like in an emotional sense, like gratitude, relief, things like I did on my journey, that comes from the belief that in that moment I have it. I'm truly accepting that I already have it. I'm in the knowing that I have it. I'm in the knowing that I was making, like for the example, $20,000 a month. And let's say I'm on my 4th month and now I'm reflecting the last 3 months. How would I actually feel if I was making $20,000 a month? And then I really contemplate that. And then I start maybe thinking about my bank account, what that would look like. I started thinking what I would spend money on. And then in that moment, even doing this, I'm just looking away, like zoning out in my head. And I'm already thinking about, like, damn, that would feel great if I went from broke to then this and being able to spend $20,000 a month on whatever, right? And I already started feeling like relief and excitement. But that relief and excitement wasn't because I forced it. It was because I accepted it, that it was fact already. And then the passive feelings, the emotions came afterwards. But if you feel no emotions, it's okay. It's not about trying to force the emotions. If I was to do what I just did and I felt nothing, I would not sit here and be like, oh no, it didn't work. I didn't feel any emotions. No, did I fully accept it? Am I able to walk away from that imaginal act and accept that it's actually true for just that moment in time, that it's factual? Am I able to identify with that preferred reality out of all the infinite possibilities? And if the answer is yes, then that's the thing that you're doing right and that you need to continue doing, and that's okay. And you'll notice that, especially if you've been fulfilling yourself a lot, you might not get as excited, right? For people that easily can evoke those emotions through the acceptance, right? That's okay. It's simply about understanding that it's the same way. When I got this cell phone, I was excited at first. Every time I touched it, I was like, "Ooh, new cell phone," right? It felt weird and nice in my hand and whatever, but then it just became normal. And then I don't jump for joy anymore, but I still know I have it. I still know that when I reach for it, it's going to be in that pocket or it's going to be on my computer desk. I still know that I have my MacBook or my computer, whatever it may be. I don't get excited about it. And it's the same thing. The knowing doesn't have to be the emotion that you're focusing on. It's the fact. Are you able to accept and to know that you have something, right? And if you're able to do that and to fully embody and accept that without question, without logic, trying to block you, without your conscious mind trying to be like, you don't have it because it's not here physically. No, can you just accept for just a split second that you actually have your desire, that you actually received it, whether it's in that moment, whether it's remembering that you've had it for months, it doesn't matter, right? And you know, it's that simple. And that's the thing I want to kind of push across to you guys and to kind of teach you guys. Don't focus so much on the emotions, even though yes, it plays a role, but they will come naturally. Practice on the knowing, right? It's the conviction that it's already done. It's the conviction that you're trusting that creation is finished. And when you go from trying to manifest and then you're aware of your desire here, and then you go here to fulfillment, you're doing that through knowing. You're remembering creation is finished. You're remembering that all those realities already exist. You are remembering that the only reason you desire this thing is because your higher self has already manifested and reflected it. It's already existing in other realities. And that's like your wake-up call to be like, wait a minute, I already have it in that case. I just don't see it, but it's already existing. And how does it feel to know that it's existing? How does it feel to know that there's versions of me that have this already? And that's when you kind of start thinking about it and contemplating it and focusing on it. So if it's for money manifestations, you focus on what you would be doing with that. How would it feel to spend that money and stuff like that, right? Can you get into that mind of spending it? And then on top of that, accepting that it's fact. Not in your 3D, but it's fact in here. Because remember, all those realities exist within you. The kingdom of heaven is within us all. Remember that, guys, okay? And I'm going to leave you guys with a short little quote here. And I wrote it down. And it starts with and this is from Seth, by the way, your emotions follow your beliefs, not the other way around. That's from the book, The Nature of Personal Reality. And just before anyone hears this and jumps right into that book, please start with The Eternal Validity of the Soul from Seth Speaks, and then jump into The Nature of Personal Reality if you're gonna get into that teacher, right? So, and the reason I tell you that is because the first book sets up the foundation and explains a lot of things, which then make the book number 2 make more sense. But remember that the emotions follow the belief, not the other way around. So that's why I made this whole video. It's the belief comes first, and then you'll notice the emotion gets unlocked after, right? And if you still aren't feeling any emotion or thing like that, that's okay. Remember, indifference is a feeling in itself, right? So that's fine. That's completely fine. Just make sure when you walk away, you're not questioning it like, oh, did I do it right? Because the moment you did that, you're now aware with conviction that possibly something's wrong. And therefore, your experience is going to be stagnant. But if you're able to accept, wait a minute, I already have it, and then just move on, boom. And then next time you're aware of it, accept that you already have it, and then boom, move on. And then that's what mental diet is. It's choosing to do that. And then when you look at your 3D and see all the lack around you, it's about understanding I don't have to identify with this. I don't have to give my conviction towards this 3D because I know it's inside first, outside second. Okay, guys? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And, you know, like I said, if you got any value of this, get the thumbs up going. And I love you all very much. And I look forward to dropping the next video for you guys. I have some interesting topics and videos that I got coming up for you guys. And, you know, I'm so grateful for all the support. Thank you for everyone that's, you know, stayed this far to listen. And I have some exciting news that I'm going to announce. It's going to benefit a lot of people. I'm not going to give too much away, but I'm working on it. So early in the new year, I'll be making an official announcement on this. But it's going to be something that's going to benefit a lot of people. It's gonna help maintain proper mental diet for people, and on top of that, I guarantee you, it's gonna lead to a lot of success stories. Especially for people that can't really afford, coaching and stuff like that. Because you guys all deserve your success, whether you have money or not, right? And that's why I tell you guys, just apply what I teach you guys. You don't have to read all the books I've read. You don't have to buy coaching to be a success. You just simply have to apply what I'm telling you. Because what I'm telling you is not my opinion. It's literally source material. I've read the books for you guys, okay? So I love you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon, okay?